What's up, YouTube?
One thing we ain't gonna do is put that whack ass dating show intro
right here. So,
in the video.
This is the young lady that me and Jaden was talking about on this last interview.
Hell date,
so
scary date.
Lady. So, you actually have a very interesting story going on right now.
I do.
And so the long and short of it, your son is missing.
Yes.
And his whole family.
Wow.
They are.
Okay. And so just real quick, how old are you?
I'm in my mid-50s.
Mid-50s, okay. How old is your son?
Maybe
31 years old.
31.
Stay away from your
and so
family.
you say that him and his whole family are missing.
Or you put people in danger.
African-American, young, beautiful family missing.
And so we're talking about, you know,
and we need
a husband, a wife, and then
how
many
what
kids?
you whistleblow.
My son, his fiance, at that time they had a newborn daughter, Amira, and they had a toddler son, LJ. Yes.
By how old?
LJ was a year and a half.
Okay, so they got two babies, basically.
Yes.
Okay, and so how long has he been missing?
So initially, where the concern came in was December, but he has been missing since March the 8th. But I believe whatever occurred with my son and his family had began prior to March the 8th. And I have no facts, but reasons to believe so. Because before March the 8th, when I see my son a couple of weeks before Christmas, my son said that he felt like something was happening to him. He said he didn't know if somebody was drugging him or he just felt like something mentally, as it relates to something that was beyond his control was happening to him. And our dialogue was different. And when I seen him 2 weeks before Christmas, the plan was for me to go over to the house for Christmas about the kids, like tons of things. I'm new to this grandmother thing, and so I'm elated. I had my grandbaby was a little over a month old at that time, and so he was standing in the door in December, and we were talking. And my son don't do drugs, alcohol. He's a Georgia State University graduate. He is a entrepreneur. He owns his own trucking company, U-Turn Auto Transport. A beautiful soul. So we can't negate anything about drugs or alcohol because that's not something he engages in.
So like no drugs, no alcohol.
No, no, neither of them. Neither of them.
Okay.
She works at Instacart. My son's name is Rayvon McClellan, and Latrice. Her name is Latrice Nichelle Williams. In December, I was standing in the door talking to my son, and in the midst of us talking, it was almost like somebody was standing behind the door. And I noticed leading up to December, every time they would come to the door, open the door would just be cracked, so much so.
And you didn't just walk in, because as a mother,
my dynamics with my son was
we just
changing,
in.
Almost like they were fearful. Even after Thanksgiving, my son kept running to the door, looking out the peek hole like somebody was after him, or like.
So when you came up to the door in December, they didn't let you in?
He opened the door. I was running late for work, and he opened the door, and I was like, I'm concerned, what's happening? And he was like,
girl, that was your chance to walk in.
And it was almost like he was trying to talk or tell me something. And he kept looking behind the door like somebody was behind the door. And he was like, I'm going to talk to you a little later. But in the midst of him talking, it was almost like he started a sentence. And literally his eyes was like,
wow.
And the door slammed.
Okay, so let's kind of put a pause, right? Let's put a pause in this. So, okay, because some people may be wondering now, like, okay, well, you know, is there some, you know, craziness or something like that going on, or anything like that? Any type of mental illness or anything like that?
You gotta pick
so
his
let's
words.
just get that out the way. Is there any
is there
mental
any type
illness
of craziness
that you've ever had? Anything like that?
No, not me. Not Latrice.
If she wasn't, you just called this lady crazy.
Normal, average 31-year-old new father.
Okay, so because some people are gonna be asking, okay, well, what could have been happening and why, right? Okay, so some of the parts about why may involve you.
Most certainly correlated to me.
So what is it that you do that may have caused you think this type of situation happened to your son?
So I am a corporate paralegal. I've been in the legal field for over 15 years. Moreover, I am currently considered a whistleblower. My matter entails law enforcement, FBI, the government, and MK Ultra. Some people may not be familiar with MK Ultra, and my suggestion is you do your own research on MK Ultra.
Okay, period. Now
just to give you a synopsis, if you will, or a summary, MK Ultra is a human experiment on mind control. And some people are quick to dismiss what they don't understand as a conspiracy theory. MK Ultra is most certainly not a conspiracy theory. You can go to any library, any government entity, or any clerk of the law.
Okay, so what did you whistleblow on?
MK Ultra. And this is what
and you as a paralegal,
not only occurred with my
corporate
son, but
paralegal,
my entire family. My whistleblowing matter is very deep and in depth, which is on my TikTok and on my Instagram pages, which goes a little bit more into explaining my particular situation.
I'm going there right now.
Just to piggyback off that, right?
My camera's on.
The TikTok and by the way, what is your TikTok and Instagram?
So my TikTok is McClellan, MCCLELLAN.A. So it's my last name dot and my first initial. Okay.
And so if we go there, what type of details are we going to see about this stuff? Like, you know, just kind of give us a quick rundown of like, what is it that we're going to see that you're saying is like this kind of, you know, is going to convince us, it's going to show us that this stuff is really happening.
Right. So on my TikTok, it's not even about convincing. It's about leading you into the direction of doing your own research on facts.
No, bitch, we know about MK Ultra. We need to know what did you whistleblow on?
His entire family is.
Like whistleblow again, bitch. Whistleblow
Gunderson. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Ted Gunderson, but he's a retired FBI agent. Ted Gunderson spoke on some of the things that my life is currently like right now. You can find those documents on there. There are several scientists and doctors who have documented what is occurring with me and my family right now. Not my opinion, not my suggestions, but facts that's laid out on my TikTok. And so you can do your research and you can go on my TikTok so that you can get a jump start, if you will, on, I guess, the knowledge that you may need to understand what's happening.
Right, because basically it sounds like, because it's very odd that a whole family would just up and disappear.
Yeah, because MK Ultra is on Google, so we need the facts.
The last time he was seen was in March.
The last time he was seen in March. I explained to you.
Did you see him in March?
The CIA put the information out.
So from December, just to summarize that really quick. So from the time
what are you whistleblowing on?
He was saying he didn't feel right. He felt
weird and everything
like
else.
Something was happening beyond his control. And as he was continuing to talk, and I was on my way to work, as he was continuing to talk, it was so surreal to me, because it was almost like he was zapped, almost like something in the midst of his conversation, almost like something hit him or something, because he kind of went forward. And then that's when his eyes kind of went back. He don't do drugs. He's very self-conscious. He's a juicer. And you understand?
Is it possible that he got into drugs and you just didn't know about it?
No, not at all, because I was there, right? I was there. I came from Atlanta to Vegas to spend the holidays with them, right? We talked about everything. I was there every day. So what I'm saying, like from December, that was the last time I seen him in his normal, quote-unquote, capacity, in part, right? The door slammed, almost like somebody was behind the door, because he was in the middle of still talking to me, right?
But that didn't strike you as odd or make you kind of come back the next day or something like that?
Right? And I'm glad, because you asked really good questions.
You need to see
so
what's
when the
going
door
on with your kid.
Slammed in the middle of him talking, right after
I want to call 911.
And that's the only description I can articulate, almost like when he was zapped or like something happened. The door slammed. And I'm like, what just happened, right? And he wasn't in his normal capacity either at that time, right? So I knocked back on the door. Nobody comes to the door. I knocked back on the door again. Nobody comes to the door. I left. I went to work. Went on about my day. From that point on, 30 to 40 days went by to where I did not see my son. That's on my TikTok. I did an FBI report April the 1st of this year. I went to the FBI. They refused to talk to me. 30 to 40 days. A young man that's 31 years old, that has a regular life like you and I, to get up, go, move about, go to the store with a newborn. You can order whatever you want to order online, but you're going to have to leave that house for some particular reason. Especially if you're a 31-year-old young man that's used to being out. Even sometimes he'd be like, whoa, these kids are driving me crazy. You know, let me go, just get some air. My son loved outside. So the fact of the matter that is so strange is, after that encounter in December, right? 2 weeks before Christmas, I hadn't seen my son since. It led up to March.
So on Christmas you didn't see him?
I went back putting stuff in front of the door, putting notes in the door. 30 to 40 days, my son not only did not move his car, I was at that apartment complex constantly, almost every day. My son's car didn't move. And I know this might sound strange unless you are a mother like me. I'm putting notes in the door, right? I'm putting notes in the car, right? My son's car did not move for 30 to 40 days. Instantly, my intuition, I'm like,
okay, so then after 30 to 40 days, right? It moves.
So I'm like, okay, let's just say hypothetically, whatever. Okay, somebody might say maybe the car was broke down. Maybe this. My son can work on cars. He can take the inside out, put it back in. And irrespective of that, my son is still going to come outside to see those notes. No matter what's going on with me and my son not going to just leave 5 and 6 and 7 notes for months in that door.
Right,
you understand?
right.
He's going to be like, Mama, what's going on?
Right, so I get it. So, I mean, so it sounds like he was legitimately gone or disappeared at that point or whatever it was. Something was going on.
In front of the wheel of the car, right? Because I'm like, let's just say for whatever reason we can think of, those notes stayed in that door, right? In order for you to drive that car, you got to move forward because he always backs in. I put a little styrofoam cup in front of the wheel. I'm like, if my son moves this car, that cup is going to be ran over. You understand what I'm saying? 30 days went by, 33 days went by. We getting up to 40 days. My son did not leave that house. That car was still right there with all those notes piling up with the styrofoam cup right in front. I called the police to do a welfare check. Now we got
after 40 days.
The police precinct that I called is a part
after 24 hours. I'm calling the police.
That's Las Vegas, Nevada.
Don't disappear on me. Ask my mama.
So let's real quick. Let's take a pause. Let's talk about some of that stuff, right? Because
Stella
I get all the
she had her
details.
group back.
We can go on about that forever.
Okay.
But we need to figure out what's actually going on and why. And it sounds like you are your whistleblower.
Yes.
Which means that you basically, tell on entities and corporations or whatever that are not necessarily doing the right thing.
And I'm not a whistleblower, ... They consider me a whistleblower, period, behind one particular incident that led to another one. This incident is derivative of a 2014 civil suit, right? And we don't have enough time for me to convey the details of that, but let you know. So then I was kind of marked or targeted, if you will, right?
So you feel like something may have happened to your son and his family based on your position as a whistleblower?
I know that it's correlated to me being a whistleblower because my whistleblower, although we're summarizing it and a lot of points, obviously we don't have time to make right now, and some of my TikTok covers that. My matter is so egregious and in-depth after I made the whistleblowing report because it initially was January the 7th, 2021. From that point on, my life changed. I went from making almost $90,000 a year, living in Midtown, a beautiful life. And my point of saying that is not about the accolades or the $25,000 Navy credit card that I had. I worked hard 10 years, a decade in school, getting those 3 degrees and that paralegal certificate, right? So in my mind, I'm taught always, not only in the legal field, see something, say something, right? If something's amiss, you have to, okay, is this affecting just me? Is this affecting us all? The depth of what is happening is not, okay, government just has access, like Edward Snowden, if anyone is familiar with Edward Snowden. He was a whistleblower. Look at what happened to Edward Snowden. Like, he now lives in Russia. That was under Obama's watch. Do your research, right? So what I'm saying to you is not a matter of them just, they have access. When any time that they can stop our democracy, any time that they can say whether a life can be saved or not, that reaches beyond just them having access. That can shut down a whole nationality. That can suppress any community, right? So it goes far beyond just, okay, they can access it. Not only can you access it, you can disable the phone at any given time. If they can just pick and choose who want to die and who won't live. So the level of severity is much higher than that, right? So my point is, when that happened, after I reported that in 2021, a chain of events set off as me being a TI.
How did you end up losing your job?
I lost everything. Not only was I blacklisted, for almost 2 years, I couldn't get a job hardly anywhere. I'm mopping floors. I'm working at burger joints. So then we must ask if we reasonable people, right? So then if she has 3 degrees and a paralegal certificate, I earned that, right? Nobody gave that to me. Again, it's not about the accolades. It's about my hard work. Why is she working at a burger place? I didn't just wake up one morning and say, you know what? Forget those degrees. Forget all that hard work. Forget being a single mom. I want to be homeless and sleep in my car. I want to work at a burger joint and let me go sweep this trash up for $9 an hour, right? If you follow and if it's investigated, thoroughly investigated, and if we remove the fear and say what has happened to her and her family from 2021 to 2024, again, I can't convey that right now. But if you research and investigate what has happened to me, like my nephew died September 1st. They said my nephew died of a car accident. His head was severed. African-American male, downtown Atlanta, 7585. They said he was going too fast. He had a car accident. His head was severed. Wow. I go to the police station within 24 to 48 hours, and you can't find my nephew in your system nowhere. Wow. Again, my whistleblowing matter entails law enforcement, FBI, and the government, and MK Ultra. From the time I did that initial police report in 2021 till now, my nephew got killed with his head severed. His body was cremated immediately, and my sister didn't even see my nephew's body. So who made that directive to have my nephew's body cremated? Is he really dead, or is he somewhere the same place where my son and his entire family, a 31-year-old regular, normal African-American male, business owner, college graduate, they ain't into drugs. Do your research, investigate whatever you must, because that's what I want. Investigate us. What happened to my nephew? Now my son and his whole family is missing. All these are coincidences.
What's your nephew's name?
Mark Douglas Johnson Jr. from Kansas City, Missouri, downtown Atlanta. A fatal accident where they said
that was September 1st?
September
2023?
2023. Now, months later, my son and his entire family missing. I got 3 degrees and a paralegal certificate. I can't even get a job mopping the floor. Explain those chain of events to me. And that's only 1% of what has happened to my life since I have made that police report. I have been followed, harassed, stalked. In Las Vegas, Nevada, all you got to do is request DOT to pull the cameras. I got receipts of almost everywhere I went. You will see police blocking me in. You'll see the egregious acts that have not only been done by law enforcement, but the FBI as well. I was followed by Capitol
So
Police.
let me pause real quick. Okay, so definitely sounds like a lot is going on, and I understand. Well, I don't understand. I can only imagine how you may feel. But okay. So, is it possible that your son just wanted to get away from you for whatever reason?
Oh, you sound like the police. That's the
narrative that the police want to portray. They want the public and society to follow that narrative because you know why? Because if we chalk it up as that, oh, he's just mad at her, or they had an argument and he just don't want to be bothered with anybody. My son, I don't care what situation me and my son go through. We have never been apart from each other for months. My son has never had a reason. What reason? Just like when I talked to a chief of police, he was like, and I didn't even tell him what I'm telling you. He was like, that makes no sense. The average person is not just going to up and say, hey, I'm 31 years old with a newborn and a toddler. We right in the midst of the holidays, and I just want to disappear and take me and my whole family where nobody see us again. Because anybody...
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely odd. I'm just going to ask, like, you guys didn't have an argument or anything like that?
Yes.
Like, were y'all beefing or anything?
We weren't beefing. I was staying with him. I came down and stayed with him for the holidays. When I seen him in December, a couple of weeks before Christmas, I was supposed to spend Christmas with him. So you understand when I was startled, not only from the last interaction we had, but when I went for Christmas, I knocked on the door. Let's keep in mind a newborn and a toddler. And my grandson, LJ, is busy, running around everywhere.
Right,
I go on Christmas. I knock on the door. Listen, y'all, it's silence. I don't hear the baby cry. I don't hear LJ. I don't smell no food cooking. If we don't do nothing else, we cooking for Christmas. I don't care if it's 2 of us. You understand? We cooking for. I don't care if we got.
So okay, so real quick. So I get it. So nothing was there
for almost 40 days, though. Listen to me.
Well, right. Well, I mean, and so, but his car was still there and everything else is what you're saying.
Nothing moved. Nothing moved.
Okay, so yeah, that's very odd. I mean, that suggests that he didn't necessarily pick up and go. Did his fiance have a car as well?
She don't drive. They had 2 cars. Neither car moved.
So both cars were there?
Right there.
Okay, so, okay. Do you think that they're dead?
No, I'm not giving that. No, I'm not. I believe that MK Ultra has been utilized on my entire family. And it's not even a belief. I know what I know. So I'm just going to use that verbiage because I know the general public may not have the same experience and understanding that I have of what's occurring today, not just with my son, but several people. The MK Ultra is the modernization of it has been utilized.
So basically, what are they doing? Are they taking people and like doing experiments on them?
It's mind control. It's mind control, and they've been doing it for decades, right? And so most people thought, okay, because this is illegal, supposedly now they stop that, but they have not.
Well, of course. I mean, we know the government's going to do whatever they want to do,
and because of the depth, which we haven't really gone into, of my whistleblowing matter, they are ensuring that I am silent.
So ultimately, it sounds like, you feel like your son and his family have been taken by they, right? And you feel like just different things, I guess,
the
experiments, whatever they've done on them. But the long and short of it is that it's the middle of May, and you haven't seen him in 2 months.
I haven't seen him since March. When I seen him in March, from December, I was going over there, right, every day, putting the notes. I put the styrofoam cup.
And you didn't even ask him about the notes? You didn't say, like, when you saw him?
I was being like the mother that I know to be, like the mother that I had.
So you were sleeping outside of the front of the apartment?
Sleeping outside. I was parking my car 2 or 3 blocks. I was walking over there. That's my son. Something's wrong.
So how'd you end up seeing him?
I'm parked further back in the parking deck. They lived at Glow Apartments, 5035 East Russell Road, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89122, right? Mm-hmm. Unit 2048, right? Him, Latrice, and the 2 kids. I'm parked in the parking lot. I see my son pull up in the black car. They have 2 cars. They had a pickup truck, and then he also had a Nissan Altima. They have a Nissan Altima.
Okay, go ahead.
I see the black Altima pull up. Now, no matter what the circumstance is, my son never, for one, and it's minute things, but these are the things that we pay attention to, right? My son never just pulls in. Since he's been driving, right? He pulls straight in. He always backs in. I don't care if he's rushing out.
I used to pull in, now I back in. So, like, people change what they do.
I hadn't seen my son since December. I had been going over there, leaving the notes. I'm a desperate mom, knowing what I know, how law enforcement has been following me, knowing that FBI, I've been getting warnings, threats, and that's a whole nother segment, if you will, right? And I have documents to show that as well, right?
Yeah,
but it's been so egregious against my
time to get in the house.
Ensuring that I can't get on social media. I got more than one.
I get it, but let's stay streamlined. So, how did you see your son?
So my son's pulling up. I just happened to look because I'm dozing off. I see the car pulling up in their parking space, and I'm like, oh my God, that's my son, that's my son. I didn't know whether to jump out and run over there or drive my car over there. So I drove over there. As I'm pulling up to him, my son gets out the car. My son is 50% less his body weight. We talking about in a few months. Wow. My son, whatever body weight you are, if you weigh 200 pounds, my son was a little bit less than 100, right? And my son has like a basketball physique, right? Very fit, very nice. He had lost more than half of his body weight. My son got out the car almost in a robotic sense. When I say crying, he wasn't crying as like a child would be crying. His eyes was filled with tears. My son's eyes was red, and he looked over at me. When my son got out the car, he got out the car running. And only did he notice me as I came out the car. And I'm like, LaRon. And he turned around, and like the fear in my son's face. His face, he was almost anorexic, and his eyes was red and shiny and glassy, and he was just in terror. And you know your child, this is who you raised. This is irrespective of any other, maybe this, maybe that, you understand? And my son was in terror, and my son was running so fast, like he was following some directive. Follow this though. Moreover, follow this. When my son pulled in at 1:16 a.m., it was a car following behind him. Not only was that car following behind him, it was another car on the other side of the apartments. Like, see how we could see straight through there? Mm-hmm. It was a car right in the middle with their hazard lights on, almost like One car followed him in. Another car sitting over here waiting. Pull the cameras. Don't take my word. Investigate. Let's pull them DOT cameras, right? You don't see the other car waiting. Whatever was transpiring there, right? The car pulled in, followed behind him, almost like he was following a directive, and almost like the car that was following him was ensuring that that directive was followed, right?
Okay.
The car pulling in the side with his hazards on, right? And I'm like trying to take all of it in the same time. I couldn't get him fast enough. I couldn't get out the car fast enough to grab my baby and hold him and be like, what's happening right now? What you running from? Why you done lost so much weight? Who got you, right? Because where were the kids? Where was the other car? Latrice don't drive.
Why you don't call her
drive
parents?
2 cars at the same time, y'all. Where
And
was
see
the
what's
truck?
going on.
Latrice don't drive. He's the only one that drives. So then, who moved the truck? Where were the kids? Where was Latrice at 1:16 in the morning? They got a newborn. My son's a good man. He don't just randomly get up and leave.
So I mean, so just I'm trying to figure out what happened. Like so.
And not only that, the ambulance was at
Black
the
people,
entrance.
ambulance.
What was going down? Who was that car that followed my son in?
So I get all the details, but I'm trying to understand. You got out the car.
I would have called the police.
He was
in
running.
there.
What happened?
He ran into his apartment complex, and I heard the door slam and the door lock. That's the last time I seen him.
But you said you couldn't get out the
So
car
he was
fast
running
enough.
from you.
He wasn't running from me. He got out the car running.
Running. Okay.
He already, when he opened that, when that car door opened, he was already in motion to run, and I came around.
And so some people are gonna hear this, right? And you know they're gonna question, well, is this a situation where, you know, she's maybe just not acknowledging that maybe he did fall into drugs or something like that?
No. So then if that's the case, let's follow the story. Let's get the investigators. Let's get the real FBI, not the ones that's involved in my son's disappearance, right? Like the ones that when I went to the FBI that was turning their badges around. Let's pull the cameras, right? Why is the FBI turning their badges around when I make an FBI report? Why
are you calling the FBI
report, right? Why when I go to Harmon Precinct, Las Vegas, Nevada, are they telling me that it was no welfare check done? That's another instance where they were last seen. On both occasions, when my son was last seen, he was last seen with Las Vegas, Nevada Police Department, and he hasn't been seen since. The same police precinct that's involved in my whistleblowing matter. So we got to take into account all of these things, not just pull some of the things, right?
No, you should take account before you whistleblow your family.
Pertaining to law enforcement, the same law enforcement that's making the narrative that he just
right
want to start his life over. So we gonna trust the law enforcement that knows that I opened a whistleblower case against them. The same law enforcement that's blocking me in, that's harassing me, that's stalking me. The same precinct was last seen with my son, right? The same precinct that's a part of my whistleblowing matter, right?
No, I get it. So
let's say, okay, well maybe he just, got in a drug. Okay, he just all of a sudden, after all these years in his life, after working out all the time, after being on the wrestling team, soccer team, playing golf, saying, I only want organic this, I'm going to juice. All of a sudden say, okay, I'm going to do these drugs, right? He's still, even when you on drugs, you can't tell me you ain't going to see your family at some point. You ain't going to tell me where's
Well, I mean, if anything, you're going to ask for money from your family, right? Most people on drugs, like, they burn their bridges with their family by asking for money and stuff.
To that point, look, his Cash App closed. Go to Rayvon McClellan. Try to send him some money. All of his online accounts disabled. You know, from my experience, the only thing and the only people I know can do that, the government, FBI, and law enforcement, because guess what? For the last 4 years, they have done it to me. So guess what? I'm watching what they have done to me for 4 years. I'm watching this happen to my son. It ain't me reading it. It's my experience. Guess what? Every social media account of my son's has either been disabled, locked, or blocked. The same thing they did to me after I opened my initial whistleblowing case. So he got a newborn, right? And you know, the average anybody, they gonna keep that Cash App account open with a newborn and a toddler. And he was already like, ooh, I'm a new dad. I gotta step it up. I gotta make sure I get this big. He was so excited for life. You understand? And so then to close his Cash App, if you try to send him something, it says this Cash App can no longer receive requests. Why? This Cash App can no longer take requests.
I get it. I mean, so, okay, so, all right, so, definitely sounds like a lot is going on. And I don't envy your position at all. Sounds like a nightmare. especially when you'll have a tendency for people to not believe you. Right, you're gonna have a tendency for people to think that you're crazy or that you know.
Because where's the tribe?
We
gotta all pull up together, nigga.
Not just me on some
sleeping in the parking lot weird
so
shit, nigga. Like we need to do a well check up, nigga. 5, 10 deep.
You're here in Atlanta. The last place that you saw your son was in Nevada.
Document this the right way.
Why am I in Atlanta? Why are you in Atlanta and your son missing in Vegas? Because people don't want to know that.
Okay, go ahead. Why?
Why? Let me tell you why. Because the same thing that's been going on with me for 4 years. Listen, I went to PBS. PBS, if you listening, remember me? Armitha McClellan. I got the executive card. Remember? Is it John Turner? I'm not sure, but I do have the card. Remember? Went to PBS physically, right? Guess who was there waiting for me with sirens at PBS in Las Vegas, Nevada, off of Flamingo Road? The same law enforcement.
Did you think you was gonna get famous by whistleblowing? Like, you have to do it the right way.
That is a part of my whistleblowing case.
Okay, so you had to get up out of Dodge, basically.
Wait a minute. I went there. Car parked in front of PBS. Let me tell you. Give me them papers. Let me show you how the man's hand was shaking. Shaking. I try to hand him my documents. He taking. This is the executive of PBS news station. He's shaking. He's looking out the window.
Did not want to be involved. He didn't want to be involved.
There's a car facing us with bright lights. White male staring at us.
So, okay, so just because we're getting to 30-some minutes. Okay, so.
News station, though. Another coincidence? Channel 8. Remember me? Went to Channel 8 twice. Guess who's there? Guess who's there? Police everywhere. Sirens. Almost like they know not to tell this story. Almost like they know they better keep this story. They wouldn't even let me do a missing persons report. They wouldn't let, they said, well, we can't let you. That is my right, my civil rights, my constitutional rights on every level is being violated. We got civil rights attorneys. Talk to me. Why I can't do a missing person report? You know why? Because if we open a missing persons report on my son and his entire family, it goes into a national database. Walmart could then put their picture up. Organizations can start helping me finding them. You know why they don't want that? Because they don't want nobody to know that this family has vanished. They don't want nobody to know that they're missing. They're not missing because if nobody knows about this story, nobody will know what happened to this family. You can say whatever you want, but until you bring me my son in his flesh, you can do deep fake, you can do artificial intelligence. This is what the company, I work for a massive software company. They build deep fake and artificial intelligence. They develop that. So what you think they doing in my life? What you think they doing in my son's life? Until you can bring me Latrice, LaRon, Amir, and LJ. Physically, I need to see them. I don't want to see deep fake.
Have you seen deep fakes? Have they shown
one thing
you?
About me is I'm a different type of
yes,
parent.
Deep fake is just like
what I'm saying is, have you seen deep fakes of your
windows? I'm getting in. I'm
okay.
This is what is
the police don't want to. I
So
can't make a police report. I'm breaking in.
Right. Everything's fine in this family. I contacted Instacart. These people intercept. Keep in mind the level. We're not talking about rank and file. We talking about higher echelon of government, of FBI.
Okay, and they would have heard the door open right after. Like immediately after. Like,
he committed suicide. He was ready for that to be over with. They shot him in the head. Look what happened to Edward Snowden. Understand the depth of the matter of what it entails to be a whistleblower. Your life changes drastically. I didn't wake up one morning after 3 degrees and a paralegal certificate after them damn 10 years of being a single parent and busting my ass to be like, you know what? I want my life to change. I'm going to wake up and I just decide I want to be fucking homeless. I don't want to work no more in the legal field. I don't want to be an attorney anymore. You think my son woke up that day and was like, you know what? I don't want to see my whole entire family anymore? Let's just say hypothetically, okay, my mom mad at you. What about his nieces and nephews? What about his big brother? What about his cousins? He has no reason.
Why can't your big brother, the big brother, file a police report?
From the face of the earth. Particularly correlated with my matter. This is not respected.
So nobody has heard from him.
No one has seen my son since December.
And what about his fiance's family?
Nobody. I don't even know where they at. She has like 12 and 13 siblings. And here's the thing. This is the opportunity part, right? They're to themselves. They're quiet. They don't go clubbing. They don't. Some people are like, oh, they
she
just boring.
People.
They
is 13.
Right, but those are kind of the perfect people to make disappear. I get it.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So then this whistleblower, nephew dies. Head severed. That in itself, you guys,
13
is not just a
fucking
normal
siblings, girl. You
occurrence.
talking
Yeah, I mean,
to one of them,
that Bowen
nigga.
stuff is definitely, that's why I say, like, you know, I think that people through Hollywood and through real life situations have come to realize that, okay, this all isn't conspiracy theories and made up stuff. This is real stuff. It's really happening. That Boeing, the Boeing whistleblower stuff, that stuff is, it's almost obvious. It's all, they're not
no,
even
it's definitely obvious.
And it's a list, though. Listen, it's a list of us, and the only reason why I say us
obvious,
because
but when you talk about it, you look crazy like her.
I wake up and be like, oh, I want to tell on some damn body. Normally, I mind my business. I'm a gossip a little bit. I'm a kiki it a little bit, but I'm a mind my business. But when what you are doing is so egregious to where not only can you suppress a whole nation, but my folks in my community to where we can't even call 911, or and let's not act like we don't know our history, right? Because it's not about race, but let's not act like that's not a part of it, right? So am I supposed to just sit on that? Am I supposed to be like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything?
So let's real quick. So what is it that you want to occur? I know that ultimately you want to have your son and his family back, but what is it that you want to occur to make that happen?
I want this investigated. Don't listen to what I'm saying, because if it's thoroughly investigated, the truth don't change.
Okay, so let's stop right there. So if anybody out there wanted to reach out, help, or donate in that regard to help to get eyeballs on this story or to get it investigated, right? Do you have a way they can reach out to you? Do you have
to come through you, or we gonna have to make something? Because guess what? Every email is monitored. The number that I initially gave the FBI was disabled within 24 hours.
Do they have like social media? Do they have Instagram and TikTok?
My TikTok is MCCLELLAN.A. My first
so they can reach out to you on TikTok.
Here's a phone number I'm gonna give you. 470.
Whose phone number is this?
This is my number.
Okay, go ahead.
470 409.
All right.
3799. Mind you, in the last 4 years, I got 2 Facebook accounts, right? If you put in Armetha McClellan, ARMETHA, last name McClellan, MCCLELLAN, you're going to see the initial count. It's a legal symbol, right? When my life was normal, right? After I became what they consider a whistleblower, they closed down every single account, every social media, all of my credit cards got, say I go to the ATM, I get 80 out. It'll say I got 180 out. Say I pump $8 of gas. Got documents on this, right? My bank's calling saying, are you out of town? Are you traveling? Because we showing that you spent $120-something, or you had an R code, da-da-da. You follow what I'm saying.
I get it. So they're messing with you. So, okay, so, but I just want to make sure that people can reach out to you, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm imagining you say you don't have Cash App or anything like that?
I'm not even comfortable giving the Cash App because I'm afraid that it's going to be closed down.
I get it.
I get it. No,
I get it.
It's definitely going to get closed down on
because I don't have the means to find my son. And all I'm saying to anybody, you can be a skepticist, you can be, and I know I'm not being as articulate as I normally would.
It's okay. You're flowing in your organic emotions.
So what I'm saying is that unless you can show me LaRon Rayvon McClellan, date of birth 6/16/1992, unless you can show me Latrice Nichelle Williams, she just had a birthday, she just turned 32, she ain't gonna reach out to nobody.
Like
so
nobody.
You gonna tell me the kids, Christmas,
her mom, her dad, her grandma, nothing, nobody, her siblings, there's 13 of them.
Easter, Valentine's Day, this entire family ain't gonna reach out to nobody. Because nobody in my family, nobody, no friends, nobody has physically seen this entire family for lives. We can't say these lives are disposable.
Have they heard from them? Because you say physically. Okay, so because I just wanted, you said physically seen, so okay.
Haven't talked to him, text, nothing. My oldest son is like, well, LaRon blocked me. No, that's not true. He didn't block you. His entire phone is disabled. Why, y'all? Why? You gotta correlate it. Her nephew dies head severed in a car accident on 75-85. I go to the police station and you won't see my nephew's name. You couldn't even find this fatality that you telling me happened that took my nephew's life. Explain that in itself to me.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna look into it.
And
but
then
listen.
I was threatened, and now all of a sudden, my son and his entire family is missing.
No, listen, I mean, that's why I agreed to do the interview. So, listen, on that note, we really appreciate you. We really appreciate you. I hope that this helps to spread the awareness of, your situation, and that ultimately you find the resolution that you're looking for, which is to find your family, find your son and his family, and be back in touch with them, okay? So I really, really, really definitely wish you nothing but the best. We really appreciate you and definitely wish you nothing but the best, okay?
And thank you for your time. You are amazing. Thank you for even taking the time to care about me and my family, because we're not disposable. A newborn baby.
I'll tell you what, man.
We're not disposable like that. And we got to speak as a world, as a nation. It's not about color. It's about, we have to say, where are those 4 lives? These people matter. They're not disposable. And I'm not going to stop. The police told me to move on with my life. We're not going to do a missing persons report, so you might as well move on with your life. Why would any law enforcement officer tell me that? Why would they not want to give me a call?
And why would any parent take that?
Again,
thank you.
All right, you make sure you have a good one, okay, sweetheart?
Thank you.
All right, no doubt.